this is the drive part, the awesome part we've all been waiting for. So a lot of you guys don't know the Senna's controls are here. You go ahead and press this. Basically starts the car. And then here we are. We're gonna go ahead and cancel race mode. So we can go back to drive mode because we're not gonna race on the street. And the car goes really low. As you can see on my screen here, it says race mode deactivation. It's 50% complete. You can really see, I mean, you know, there is a lot of good in the craftsmanship inside this car. A lot of good, and I want to be clear about that. A lot of good. Now you can see obviously the windows we talked about earlier, very tiny. We're going to close those to basically give us less noise here. In addition to that, everything else is really well crafted from carbon here. The one thing that is bizarre that I'm not maybe understanding perhaps why is such is we have the beautiful Alcantara airbag here, all carbon, no glove box or anything. But then look at this. Look at this. It is plastic. I can't really understand why it is plastic. It's kind of weird because everything else is like carbon and beautiful. And I would argue, why not Alcantara? I mean, just something to think about, you know. But other than that, it's very 720-ish, 720 front end, you know. The blue accents throughout really make the car inside and out. And this has the premium $7,000 sound option, which sounds pretty decent, you know. So again, you know, cool, but nothing spectacular. And of course, if you didn't know, the door handles are here too, which is again something else that's cool. So we're gonna put one window down a little bit now, and as you can see, the car just doesn't like sitting. It's one of these things where it just does not like sitting. It likes to be driven. So let's go drive it and give you my thoughts on, you know, the Senna as a car, not necessarily as an investment anymore. These have become widely affordable in the hypercar market compared to what they typically went for. And very cool here, you can see through, you know, with the glass, which is one of the key features of the Senna, but it's cool for curbs. It prevents you from hitting curbs, you know, which is pretty cool. Like you can really see when you're getting closer not to a curb and kind of work your way around it between the camera and of course the fact that you can see through the door. I also found it very awesome if you have sexy hairy legs like me to basically wear shorts here and show the world how amazing your legs are. Or, you know, as maybe we should have said that if you're a hot chick or something, but yeah, so we're just gonna, you know, that probably went over everybody's head. Alright, so let's go for a little drive and see if this really lives up to these expectations. I mean, on the surface, you can see the details that McLaren took from this to make the 720S really with the kind of what you get in the front, and then the 600 LT seats, which I would say the opposite. They took those from the Senna. You can see as we're driving, I'm sure you're hearing this, there's rocks hitting everything. And basically that's the one downfall of this car, is that it's so non-insulated that you can basically hear everything. Like, so you can really hear like all the rocks and everything else. What's actually funny is these windows are so tiny, you can use them to slip a hooker 100 or basically put it out if you're doing watch deals, you know, like True, and nobody can basically shoot you. But I don't think these are tempered glass either, so, you know, at first glance this is in sport mode, not in track mode. We're getting a lot of yeah, it's fast. You can tell because I'm barely tapping it, and it just gives you this very fuck you in the seat kind of mood. And I think that's incredible, right? Like, unbelievable, just unbelievable. It is just spectacular. I mean, spectacular. You can tell the responsiveness. And that was another lawnmower, I'm sure you've heard. Someone bought a lawnmower at Sears and decided to put that engine in their Honda Civic. So on the surface, again, the drive, you know, you can see very unusable if you ask me in the street. It seems more like the type of opportunity to take it down a track, because right away you can tell the car does not, under any circumstance, want to just stand still. It just wants to go, you know? So you just, you know, you kind of ease into it because you obviously don't want to lose it or anything, but there is a lot of power in almost every gear. and it's a lot more intense than a 720, but it also feels like the car is much better equipped to handle it than a 720, and I think that's a big part of it. Like the 720 almost felt like it had too much power for the car. This car, on the other hand, just looks like it was made to have power. So an incredible drive altogether. And of course, it attracts attention everywhere. I mean, everyone looks at it, everyone wants to take a photo of it. Truly beautiful, and just very extraordinary to see on the street. I think that's one of the, I think the best way to really, the best way to describe this car, it's overly dramatic. It's dramatic in design, it's dramatic in function, it's dramatic in power, and I think it's dramatic in the art of hypercars. Like if we look at all the other hypercars on the market, they're sleek, they're classy, they're elegant. This one is just like nuts, I mean, nuts. And I think that's what makes it fantastic, right? Is that how over the top it is. Because I think the one thing the Senna brings back that a lot of cars, listen, to be fair, I told you earlier I was not a fan of the wing. I'm not talking about downforce. I don't really care about that stuff. I'm talking about design, right? I'm not a fan of the gigantic wing, and I think it's very ugly on the car. But one of the things that, obviously we know it's functional and it's necessary, but one of the most powerful things here that we want to be talking about is the fact that this does do something that I think is formidable in the sense of hypercars, and it's that it's bringing the drama back that a hypercar always was. I mean, we've seen the supercar market go from having these dramatic Lamborghinis to now even Kias having features of Lamborghinis, like in design. The best Kia looks like a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. So you're seeing the more tame and docile aspect or anger that is now missing from exotic cars in general. And even hypercars, if we look at the Chiron, the Veyron, classy, beautiful, exciting, but elegant, And this car is anything but elegant. It's not elegant. It's fuck you on every level. It's like the Terminator. It's like insanely fast. Holy shit. It's extremely fast, and it's extremely responsive, but it's also extremely dramatic. And I think that's just unbelievable, I think it's unbelievable in general. And I think that's what makes it really as exciting as it is. I don't think you can get something more exciting than this for the money. I mean, this was a $1.4 million car in its spec, and you can now buy a Senna for as low as $800,000 for some of the more base models, which is about $200K off a sticker. I mean, but this is extraordinary. It's not it's not like a normal hypercar. And the reason I said that, again, I'm very unbiased towards cars. I don't think this is beautiful. I think there's much more beautiful hypercars. I think it fits the mold of what it's supposed to be. And I think that's what makes it so good. I don't think what makes it so good is really anything about what it is. It's more about what it was supposed to do and ultimately what it's become. So I'm gonna stop here and get a cup of coffee real quick. And then, of course, we'll go back into the car for a further drive and see and take it a little bit faster now in the next round. All right, gents, let us roll. Let us roll. If I can even get in with this, dude. Where's the cup holder? Are you gonna hold it for me? Thanks, man. You're an awesome friend. If I can, holy shit, this is the brutal part that I hate about even the 600 LT. Where's the cup holder? We don't have a fucking cup holder, I forgot. You know what this car does have though? It doesn't have fucking cup holders, but it's got these little tubes you can plug into this thing. So technically I could put tequila or like fucking coffee in it and then just sip out of a tube like a fine straw that reminds you why you just spent $1.5 million. It's so you can suck some liquid out of a straw. No? Okay. Alright, you got the... Yeah, but there's still no cup holder. This is kind of fucked. You know, we should do a test. We should leave it here. And basically, like, let's leave it here. And then see if we go really fast, if it spills over. Or if it's this
horrible
idea.
Right? Terrible idea.
Horrible. Is that like? I just want to know. Is that like the worst idea you've ever heard?
Yeah.
Is it like one of them? Okay.
It's like good conversation.
You're like, what the fuck? Alright, we're gonna go reverse. Now, the other thing you don't know is this is the cool part that I thought was really, really cool. So this piece, you see this, is actually connected to the seat. You see, the drive thing is connected to the seat, which is really cool, which means all your controls always stay with the drivers. You know, remember, this has the basic same setup as the same exact setup as the 720S. And then here you have your race mode, your fan, of course, like I said, all the other switches. And launch is here. You're this annoying thing that turns the car on and off for fucking fuel mile. Like, who gives a shit if this gets 3 miles to the gallon or 15 miles to the gallon? Like, someone that would give a shit, you know? Okay, I'm gonna kind of hold this because you're reminding me that it's a bad idea to do that.
Don't do that.
I hope it don't crash. That would really suck. Because you can't really repair carbon, that's the only thing.
Knock on carbon.
Yep. Not knock on wood. That would be a disrespect to the carbon in this car. Can you imagine if someone was like, knock on wood? It'd be like, fuck you. You gotta knock on your own wood. We knock on carbon. That's what we do. Alright, let's go. Let's go, let's go. The steering column, of course, is completely manual, which is okay. It's not that bad. And usually requires to go up and down prior to getting in and out of the vehicle. The hardest part isn't getting your knees stuck on this when trying to get out with the seats. It shows me here, yep, the tires are good. Excelente, excelente. Ride height is normal, should be good to go. Let's merge. You forgot I could drive with one hand, huh? You see? Paddle shift on McLaren allows the same side to operate forward and backwards. So if you forgot, you thought I was going to need my second hand. You see, I tricked you.
It's pretty cool.
Cool trick, right?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, right? He's like, shut the fuck up. It's like retarded ass fucking trick. See, that's why I love this channel and I love our team here, is because no one gives a fuck. That's what gives us the ability to really entertain ourselves and not you guys, you know, because we're not doing this for the big cock contest like most people on YouTube. I bought a new car. I bought a nicer car. Well, we all bought the same fucking car. You've seen that shit on YouTube? It's so gay. It's like every gay YouTuber goes, what can I buy that'll make me fucking cooler than the next guy and the next guy and the next guy? It's always like, because they make their fucking money on YouTube, so they sit there and they're like, I don't know, that other guy got a bigger cock now, he bought one of those. I'm gonna show him because I have higher earnings on YouTube. And meanwhile, I remember when we hit like 100K subs, thanks by the way to you guys, what was it? You were like, how the fuck do we get a plaque? And I'm sitting there like, I don't know how the fuck do we get one. You're like, you're supposed to do 5 things. And I'm like, what 5 things? It's like, who gives a shit? You're like, no, but like, I'm trying to get this plaque. I'm like, oh, yeah, so we can be like, I got 100,000 subscribers. Anyways. See, what I was saying earlier is makes it kind of hard to use this car because at every angle and every way, you really want to go really fast. And, you know, unless you're going to be on a track or on the highway a lot, it's going to be really hard to do that. And then, to be fair also, I want to explain something to you. The design isn't as exciting when the car's up, but when it's in race mode, it's really in race mode. You see, to put it in race mode, basically you hold this button when you're neutral. I can't do it here because we're in the middle of the traffic and it's going to take time. You have to go to neutral and basically put in race mode and the whole car comes down. It tells you like this Star Trek looking bullshit that goes like, oh, it's not 10% complete, 100% complete. It really feels like you're sitting in a jet fighter, which is quite different and interesting and exciting, you know, all at the same time. I think it's great. I mean, listen, I said earlier, I don't think this is the prettiest hypercar on the market, but I definitely think it's true to what it is. I'm gonna be like super frank with you guys. I really did not want to buy this car. on any level, like for any reason. Like I've been doing hypercar investments at VIP since 2005, and I've always bought stuff for us to have clients invest in for the last, now almost 15 years, right? And when the Senna came out, everybody said, like, this is going to be a good investment piece. And I said, no, I was right. They went all the way up and they crashed, right? They came way, way down, right? Way, way down. So, I don't think that it was a good investment then. Because of COVID, I saw a huge opportunity to personally buy a Pista and an SVJ. And I also saw an opportunity to finally pick up a Senna for our VIP motoring division as an investment, finally. And I wanted something more unique, and so there was this collector in Beverly Hills that is famous on Instagram that had one. Through various brokers and friends, we found out that it was available for sale, negotiated back and forth, and finally brought one at a price point that made sense to invest in. But to be clear, I never bought this as an intention to drive it, and honestly, a lot of the team we have at VIP Motoring decided that this was a car we should buy, and I was kind of hesitant because as the CEO, I was like, this isn't really something that I've ever liked personally. But I tell you this from a more of an unbiased standpoint, as someone who came into the Senna arena not excited, but rather very, very kind of skeptical about the car in general, because I always said maybe it's too much performance for the street and not really in any way exciting. I feel like I stand by that word. It is too much, way too much for the street. But I will say that the one part that it did catch me off guard with was really how it's true to what it is. And I think that's what makes it incredible, I mean, just incredible. Listen to this, right? Listen. It's like nuts, and the braking, like, you really feel it. Like, amazing. Just amazing all around. The performance is there, no doubt about it. Not 1 millimeter of doubt. It's just spectacular, right? Absolutely spectacular. The design, not that spectacular to me. Actually, I think it's very ugly. But I think it's aggressive and it's angry. And it's what it should be for being a Senna, not for being a great hypercar. And I think, again, I think true to F1, it has a sense of mixing old F1 race cars and new kind of hypercar looks. But I think the coolest thing, from playing with this for the last couple of days, I'm gonna say, not the seats, not the fact that these hard ass seats are comfortable, but these doors. This is the first time I've actually been so entertained looking down and seeing the road move so fast when you go really fast. It's a scary and exciting experience at the same time, and I think this is why I'm gonna say that I think the Senna is a great car, just maybe not one that I would personally want to drive every day or want to drive in that way, but rather it's an extremely excellent car in the sense that it is true to what it is, and it is dramatic, and I think it brings back a level of drama that has been missing in the hypercar realm for a very long time. And for that reason, I just think it's brilliant in its own right. There you have it, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review of Exotic Car Hacks' newest edition, the Senna. And again, leave me comments, thumbs up, thumbs down. You hate it, you don't hate it, whatever. Love to hear your thoughts about if you think the Senna is the best hypercar out there, and if you think that the all-carbon look is worth it or not. Give us your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for 100K. And what better way to celebrate?